everybody. Today I'd like to do a short video about the difference between steel and aluminum mesh tins. Now these are Dutch Army, but it goes for anything steel, aluminum in general if you have comparable items, and I will be I'll be giving some user tips as well. So let's have a closer look at these two. So let's have a closer look first. I got some specs here, and these are the two tins. We're all familiar with these, I think. For you, on your right side is the steel one, and for you on the left is the aluminum. And you can see there's not much difference to begin with. Smaller one, bigger one, they're basically all the same size. For the measurements, and I will be doing that in centimeters and grams for the weight. I will put things in inch and ounces in the diagram at the end. The steel one weighs about 485 grams and the aluminum one weighs 417 grams. That means that there is a 68 gram difference indeed between the steel and the aluminum. So the aluminum is lighter, and you know that was to be expected. Let's do them separately. The big one weighs 252 grams. The big one, aluminum, 224. So there is a difference as well. And the smaller ones, 233 and 192 grams. So yes, the aluminums are more lightweight, and just as a solution that I thought of was, you know, you can bring the steel one, the smaller one, and maybe the aluminum one, the big one, as a lid on the smaller one, saving some weight there. I also found that the handles are a huge difference. The steel ones are a lot heavier than the aluminum ones, and maybe if you are capable of doing that sort of thing, you can take them off and then swap them over, and then you also may have some sort of a benefit of both. So how much does go in there? Well, at my test, I could pack almost 1.26 liters in the big one, all the way to the edge there. So not practical at all, but it will take 1.26 liters, and the small one will take 0.98, so almost a liter, which I thought was kind of like a surprise because I thought it would have taken less. But this is about a liter, and this is a bit more than a liter, so that is quite a lot of volume there. Of course, they are both similar. You can have a little tiny bit of a difference depending on how dented they are and what have you, but they're basically the same. Alright, so what are the issues? Let's start with the weight issue. There is a 68 gram weight difference here between the tins, but I did a little bit of an experiment. I bought two pouches, and you may know them or not. These are from Tasmania, and something like that, and they're just, you know, utility pouches, and they come with a lot of mole webbing, Velcro, and on the inside it also has a lot of webbing, etc. I thought, you know, what if I strip one down and take as much off as functional possible? I could still go a little bit further. I left the rain cover in, for instance, but this difference is already 34 grams. So this one is 34 grams lighter than the original one. Now imagine you have two of these pouches with all that extra trimming on it, and you don't really need it. If you would skim them down, you would already have your weight gain, because that would be exactly like 86 grams, which is the same difference between the aluminum and the steel. So I think, you know, in weight difference, I don't think it is much of a big deal. Now the other issue, of course, is health. I have a lot of people that say eating from aluminum is a bad thing, and yet why do they have them in the army? Well, that is basically a simple answer. So when I was in the army, I got the aluminum one as well. And the thing is, when you go on to a field trip or what have you, exercises, you bring them, you go to the mess tent, you bring your tins, they fill it up, you get it back, you eat it, done. And even if you were cooking out in the field, you would be cooking your food in MREs. Now, I have a tin here, which is by no means an MRE. This is just tuna in the can. But you would put water in the tin. You would boil it, open it up, stir it around so the conservatives would evaporate out. At least that's what they told us. And then you would eat it either out of the tin itself, or you would throw it in the other one, dropping the water, of course, first. But that's what it would be like. So you would never be actually cooking in the tins themselves, and thus the aluminum problem is then actually non-existing. Of course, if you start baking eggs and bacon and other things in it, yeah, then it can become a problem. So some people say the amounts are really neglectable. Yeah, that could be true, but if you also eat other products with aluminum in them, or aluminum-rich food, I don't know what that would be, but it could all add up. And in the end, it is the question, do you mind or do you not mind at all? Or, in my case, I would say, why take the risk? If I do cook in it, let's be safe and use the steel ones. And if I know I'm not going to be directly cooking from it, but just boiling water, etc., I can use the aluminum ones. So that's about that. Now, a few things that is nice to know when cooking. If you use the smaller one, for baking bread or something, you can use the big one either as a lid on top. That's what we used to do to make the water boil faster. But you can also turn it around and use it as a closed oven configuration, which is nice for making bread or something as well. And that way you have an oven on the campfire. So that is very functional as well. The downside is if you start pouring, and you all may have seen that, but it kind of flips over on you, and that could be a problem. So just having a thumb on the edge can prevent that a little bit. Of keeping it upright also makes it a lot less prone to flipping over and dropping all your food on the floor. Of course, you do need some gloves when you do that, because this gets really hot. Just for size, people, if you're not familiar with centimeters or what have you, and inches and stuff, this is an Asbit burner. We all know these. They fit in the small one rather nicely, so you can put some food and other things in it. This already contains Asbit, so I don't need extra fuel. A pencil, just an ordinary pencil. If you drop that in, that would fit in about right, a little bit of space left, so approximately that is your size. And the big one, of course, more space. Okay. So they are very functional and very useful, and I don't think I need to show you how to cook with these, because they are just basic pots and pans. You put your egg in it, whatever in it, a bit of oil, and they cook. So it's just like another frying pan, only that's MRE friendly, because that would fit right in. One of the MRE meals would fit in the small one just right. And if you want a package, you can also, of course, put the one on top, put all your food in, close it up, put an elastic band around it, and this is a nice package to move around with your food in it, etc., without it dropping out. So it has a few benefits, definitely. Okay, so I hope it helped. Aluminum versus steel. I think it's up to you whether you go for the more lightweight, or maybe you go for a stronger steel, or you have another reason for going for either steel or aluminum. I think the health issue is a valid reason to pick steel if you're cooking a lot of food, especially acidic food. So like yogurt and tomatoes and other vinegar things, you definitely want to go with steel, I think. But, well, everybody has their own opinions, right? I hope it helped, and see you next time. Bye-bye.